All right, let's dive right in. We're going to spend the next few minutes talking about something incredibly important: how you can take powerful, proactive steps to prevent lung cancer. First, let's just get a sense of why this matters so much. Lung cancer is, and this might surprise you, the #1 cause of all cancer-related deaths in the United States. That goes for both men and women. So yeah, understanding prevention isn't just helpful, it's absolutely crucial. But here's the thing, we're not here to just dwell on the problem. We're here to talk about solutions. And the good news, the really good news, is that you have a ton of power to lower your risk. So where do we start? What's the biggest game changer? Well, we have to start with the single biggest factor. There's just no way around it. When we talk about lung cancer, the conversation has to begin with smoking. It is, without a doubt, the leading risk. And I mean, just look at this chart. The difference is staggering. It's not a small increase, it's a massive one. We're talking about a 20 times higher risk for smokers. This one image really says it all. The connection is it's undeniable. 90% of lung cancer cases in men and 80% in women are linked directly to smoking. The numbers are just overwhelming. So, if you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. The single most powerful thing you can do to slash your risk of lung cancer is to stop smoking. Or, of course, to never start in the first place. Now, you might be thinking, well, the damage is already done, but that's where there's some really incredible, hopeful news. Your body has this amazing ability to heal. The moment you stop smoking, your lung tissue can actually start to repair itself. So how much of a difference does quitting really make? A huge one. I'm talking about an 80 to 90% lower chance of developing lung cancer for people who quit for over 15 years compared to people who keep smoking. That is a life-changing number. Okay, so we've established that smoking is the big one, but it's not the only risk factor. So let's broaden our view a little and talk about some other things in our environment that we need to be aware of. We're going to tackle 3 key areas where you can take back some control: the air you breathe around other people, the air inside your own home, and some things you might be exposed to at work. Let's start with a threat that's, completely invisible and honestly often overlooked. Have you ever wondered what's actually in the air inside your house? This brings us to something called radon. So what is this stuff? Basically, radon is a radioactive gas. You can't see it, you can't smell it. It comes from the natural breakdown of uranium in the ground, and it can literally seep up into your home through tiny little cracks in the foundation. The great news here is that this is a totally fixable problem. It's a really simple 2-step process. First, you test your home with a pretty inexpensive kit. And second, if the levels are high, you call in a pro to fix it. It's a super straightforward way to get rid of a serious hidden danger. All right, now let's shift gears and talk about the workplace. Now, safety rules are way better than they used to be, but being aware of what you're around is still your best defense. If you work in certain industries like construction or manufacturing, it's really important to know about substances like asbestos or arsenic. Just knowing the risks empowers you to make sure all the right safety gear and procedures are being used. Okay, so we've talked about lifestyle choices and environmental factors. Now let's talk about the proactive medical steps you can take. Think of this as building your own personal prevention playbook with your doctor. So, is lung cancer screening something you should think about? Well, the guidelines are very specific. They're aimed at adults between 50 and 80 who have a pretty significant smoking history and are either still smoking or quit sometime in the last 15 years. You'll hear this term, pack year, get thrown around. It sounds complicated, but it's really just simple math. It's a way to measure your total exposure. So, a 20-pack year history could be 1 pack a day for 20 years, or it could be 2 packs a day for 10 years. Same total. Now, this is really important to understand. Screening has a clear upside and a clear downside. A low-dose CT scan, it can cut the risk of dying from lung cancer by 20%, which is amazing. But, and this is a big but, there's a pretty high rate of what are called false positives, which can cause a lot of worry and lead to more tests that you didn't need. It's a real trade-off to discuss with your doctor. So, after all that information, it all really boils down to one final crucial point. The most important step you can take isn't trying to figure all this out on your own. It's simply starting a conversation with your doctor. They're the ones who can help you put all these pieces together and figure out what makes sense for you personally. So, we'll leave you with this challenge. Take what you've learned today and use it. Use it to start that conversation. Asking, what is my personal risk and is screening right for me? Well, that's the most powerful step you can take for your health.